Hi there, and welcome to another Beyond Threats podcast by Bleckmann. I'm your host, Erik Janssen Steenberg, and as always, we're diving into the trends and what is developing in supply chain management, and then with a keen eye on fashion and lifestyle, and the segment where Bleckmann is the expert. For today's topic, building a brand, emerging and developing into modest size, then medium size, then hopefully large size company. And for that purpose, I am joined today by Sepideh Asghari of the emerging brand Sepi Agari. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Erik. I'm glad to be here.
Well, I'm happy to have you because the topic of today is something that you are doing every day. You're living and breathing, developing a new brand. So I'm looking forward to our chat. And to kick things off, can you tell me more about yourself, about the brand, and how it became to be?
Definitely. I'm Sepi from the brand Sepi Agari, which is a luxurious handbag brand based in Antwerp, and we fully source and manufacture in Italy. From a young age, I was always passionate about designing, and that was something that I used to do in my spare time. But I'm not a classic designer. First and foremost, I'm an entrepreneur with a background in business.
Yeah.
I used to work as a group financial manager for international fashion brands. And throughout my career, I was a business partner to the different departments within the business. So we're talking about marketing, product development, design, sales, and so on. And that really kind of like gave me an insight into the business and made me able to look at a business from different perspectives, really top down and bottom up, and understand, the impact from strategy up to the cost of making something, up to the sales, and then feeding that, back up. But what sets me really apart is that I've combined that business expertise with craftsmanship. I felt that there was a gap in the market where quality, craftsmanship, sustainability, but also affordability could come together. And that's why I decided to quit my job and go to Italy to really learn the A to Z of bag making from master artisans. And so I really learned everything from pattern making to actually constructing a bag, which is really like a complex thing. There's so much more than meets the eye. And so you really need to understand what you're doing in order to bring it to life as well.
Oh, absolutely. So it's clear that you would almost say that you have the pedigree, so that you were born to do what you're doing right now. But from your role at your previous employer, you have seen all segments of a successful brand. You now know what is needed, in terms of, design, manufacturing, checking, double checking, triple checking, that you are absolutely sure that the product that arrives at the doorstep of your customer looks and feels and smells even with this luxurious leather smell, is exactly in line with what you need it to be. So you found yourself a niche. But how did you do that? Because sometimes it feels like you're swimming against the stream. We're very focused on fast fashion these days, but you are looking at luxury, at sustainability, etc. How did you do that? How did you find that niche? How are you now, differentiating?
Our brand creates a bridge between the heritage luxurious bag brands and a new generation of customers, one that is mindful about production processes, that want quality, they want sustainability, they want a timeless design, yet they want it to be accessible. And that is why our customers choose for us. They don't want to spend multiple months of a salary on a bag, yet they have that quality mindset. Ever since we started this journey, it was really important for us to create a high-value product, one that would give our customers this aha feeling when they open the packaging and see our bags. And so we decided to go to Italy to really, find the best suppliers and use the best materials. And that is something that we were able to realize. So we're using premium leather, Italian galvanized hardware, FSC certified packaging, PCR organic cotton linings, and we use the haute couture ateliers that also work with other luxury bag brands such as Loewe, Acne Studios, Chanel, Louis Vuitton, because it's very much like their touch of hand and finishing that would set our bag apart.
Yeah.
We really took the time to invest in finding the right suppliers and also making sure that we're really doing everything at the best ability to really bring that high quality product in life, because I think that's really what it's about. Everything is locally sourced and manufactured. So sustainability is very much a core pillar and a conscious choice that we have put through in every decision in the business. At the same time, we also wanted to have timeless design so that we're not against a fashion trend that comes and goes.
Understood.
Exactly. Something that we focused on is having that timeless design in all the collection, but making sure that there are also some statement pieces in there.
Yeah.
So I think like it's really bringing the different pillars. And so when I wrote my master dissertation, I wrote about circularity and sustainability in the fashion industry. So that was way, way back something that I was always mindful about. I also put emphasis and importance on it when I wanted to create the brand. I think that that's really the future and something that most brands should be mindful about. It's not always about doing more and getting more cash. It's about doing things better and, you know, trying to leave a positive impact behind. And so when we were deciding on all of the different partners that we were working with, it was also finding the people where you had a shared vision and shared values in those terms.
Respect for your due diligence, so to speak. It does sound like a rather lengthy process. And so how long did it take you to get from an idea to, let's say, launch? And what were some of the biggest, events or surprises that you have experienced along the road, along the ride, maybe? Yeah.
That is true. It took really like a full year to create the brand. And I would say like selecting your partners is one of the most important things in the process. It's challenging for a young brand because you're starting from scratch. So you really have to build from the ground up, but you have to be very selective with who you're going to work, that they share the same values and that there is a mutual trust. It's something that I did. I generally went through Italy and I knocked on so many doors before I found my current business partners. And I have some kind of family bond now with them. One of the examples that always stayed with me is when I was traveling through Italy to find my manufacturers. I found myself at the doorstep of one of my current manufacturers. He's an 80-year-old Italian artisan.
Okay.
He is...
And he's still working, 80 years old.
Still working. Oh. He runs his family atelier with his 2 sons. He's been doing this his whole life.
Yeah.
And he might be not notorious to the outside world, but he is the man behind, you know, all the crafts for the haute couture luxury brands, such as, again, Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Louis Vuitton.
Not the smallest emerging brands. No.
Exactly. And so he's still doing it every day because it's his passion. He loves it and he cares for his craft. He feels like, you know, every bag is a reflection of his honor for his work. So every stitch must be right. Everything that leaves his atelier must be right. It's not about shortcuts, but it's about doing things the right way. And so when I found myself at the table, it was not just a meeting with him. It was not a typical meeting as we know it, but it was a culture of involvement where his whole family joined, everyone participated. It was very lively, and there was a lot of passion for the craft and caring for creating something that is right and meaningful.
Yeah.
I definitely had my fair share of challenges throughout this journey, but I very much believe that challenges always grow a person. I think...
Or a brand.
Exactly. You know, in life, we tend to not want to be in these challenging positions because it's hard and you're trying to find solutions for things you're struggling with and you haven't done it before, but you know, you have to go through it. That is really going to shape you. So embrace it. And afterwards, most of the times you look back and you're like, oh, actually, that was a good thing that happened to me. So to give you some examples, when we were planning the production, obviously it's a chain where one thing needs to be done before it goes to the next.
Yep.
And so packaging was important, because when you have the finished bag, as soon as possible, they need to go into packaging, because otherwise there will be dust on it and they need to be recleaned.
Of course.
And so that adds up to the fees that you have to pay. And so everything was pre-planned. The packaging was supposed to arrive, 2 weeks before the bags would be finished. But our production partner for the packaging is also a bigger one that works with the bigger brands. So oftentimes we have to be flexible, because when they get a bigger order, they're going to put it before us.
In all fairness,
that
makes sense, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what ended up was that the packaging eventually arrived 2 months later than the pre-planned. But obviously, the manufacturer has so many bags laying around. They wanted everything to be shipped out as soon as possible. We wanted to be shipped out because we're planning to have the launch event and all of these things. But that causes like a major, breakup in the planning. So there's so many things that you don't have at hand. Sometimes you have to solve at the same time. And sometimes it's also lean in the relationships that you have to find solutions for it. But what I also learned is afterwards, you're sometimes also happy with these things. So first, we're very stressed because everything had to be postponed. But that eventually led for us to launch around January, February 2024, which in the fashion calendar is quite a time where accessories are more in the picture. It's like accessories season. So that was actually a great thing, because when we launched, we got so much organic press coverage in prestigious magazines like L'Officiel, Forbes France, Elle,
well, you can
Marie
do worse.
Claire.
Yes,
exactly. Even like in local newspapers and magazines, that was nothing we expected. It was such a great, exciting, positive news that also gave us a boost in what we were doing. And so actually being late was a good thing, because it led us to really launch during the accessories season in the fashion calendar and get more traction and notice.
So a clear blessing in disguise, actually.
Exactly. And that's my point when I say, I think oftentimes, when these things happen, accept it and it will fall into place. Sometimes you have to solve things, sometimes you have to accept things. And so you learn along the way how to navigate things way better. It's not always how you imagined it, and it's not always bad or good. It's all about navigating it and making sure, you do the best of your ability to let things fall in their place as well.
Only pressure creates diamonds.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
Well said.
And for the people who want to do the same thing as you, maybe even for women who want to start their own brand, their own company. And sometimes they can feel overwhelmed. What is the advice that you would give them?
I would say that doing this is a really hard job.
It is.
I think it looks very glamorous to the outside world based upon the outputs, but in reality it's only 1% of the whole thing. 99% of it is really about execution. There is so many things that will come at you. You have to be a clear mindset and want to, solve problems, but find also new solutions and create opportunities. And so it is going to take a lot from you, but if you really want it, you're going to be fine and you're going to put the effort and the work in it.
So what you're saying is that when you say in the right mind, you mean steer the course. So make sure that suppliers and the outside world do not affect your goals too much, your process too much.
You have to do this for the right reasons. If it's about the quick cash, if you think it's glamorous, you're going to be disappointed, because there is a lot of challenging things that will happen. It's about rolling your sleeves and doing the job. And also when I say have the clear mindset, I'm talking also about have a clear idea of what you want and what you're gonna put out there. And in the process, I really much believe in the 1/3 principle, which is 1/3 is gonna be really, really bad, 1/3 is gonna be okay, and 1/3 is going to be good. If that's your coach, you're gonna be okay. If you think that all of it is gonna be fun, you're going to be disappointed. You have to really know yourself to know when you push and when you redirect and you pivot. Because, you know, oftentimes we hear about these successful entrepreneurs and they're like...
on social, nobody says...
Exactly. And it's like, after 10 years, you know, I finally got there. But that's not for everybody. You have to be very close to yourself and know when it's your intellect, when it's your intuition, when to pivot and when to, you know, go another direction. And that's not something that anybody can decide or tell you. You're going to be in that position and you're going to have to know what to do. And I would also generally recommend everybody to have a great team around themselves.
Yeah.
It's not always about like hiring people, because that's not possible. You know, in the beginning, there is so many investments that need to go into the business. But it doesn't have to be people you hired. It can really be like a good team of family or friends, people that you trust, that know you, that can advise you, where they can, like, you know, share thoughts or brainstorm with you. And I'm very grateful for my family. They've been through this whole process with me, and genuinely they've helped me in so many parts of the business. So you don't have to do everything yourself. Sometimes it's good to get, you know, ideas, inspirations, thoughts from a team that you've created around yourself.
Sparring partners.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that you have to look at your own lane. Don't compare yourself to other people.
Yeah.
Don't just copy paste. Really be authentic to your vision. Know what you want and where you want to see your brand grow and how far you want to reach. Be comfortable in not knowing all the answers or not being able to control everything.
Accept that you don't know everything.
Exactly. And accept also that there are going to be so many challenges along the way, but that they will grow you, that they will teach you, that they will strengthen you. And be sure that when you walk through those paths, you're going to be able to handle way more than you thought you would. In reality, you will be tested, and it's really your passion for your craft that's going to push you through it. I always say, like, you know, even if I have friends or like other people come to me and they're like, what you do, it's so fun and so on. And I'm like, you know, work is work, but know that this is double the work.
Behind the curtains, it's murder.
Like, it does not stop. It's not that I close it and I'm like, everything's okay. You are so, I mean, I hope that you are so connected to what you do, you know, in a way that you care so much for it that you want to make the best out of your abilities out there.
At Bleckmann, I'm part of the sales team, but I'm a BD manager, so a business development manager. And it's that passion that you just mentioned, my love for supply chain management, that, well, I still hate falling down, but I more and more love getting up.
Exactly.
And finding my ways to navigate what is in front of me and push towards success.
Exactly. You know, it's not about how many times you fell down. It's about how many times did you get up.
Get up. That's
exactly.
It.
That's going to matter. That's going to define you. And I would generally say to a lot of people doing this, like, oftentimes you're like, is it normal that it's so hard? Is it normal that it's like struggling and pushing? I would say it is normal. You're not alone in this. Let's be real with each other. It's very challenging and it's harsh.
Yeah.
And you push through and you'll get there. But also know and be wise enough to pivot or change courses if something is not working. When you're intertwined with your business, oftentimes you become one with the business. At least that was for me the case. You know, the brand was me and I was the brand, extension of myself that goes into the brand.
Exactly.
And then we try to bring it to life. There needs to be a certain space between you and the brand for the brand to be healthy for
That's
yourself.
Impossible.
It's not possible in the beginning. I wasn't able to do that in the beginning.
No.
But it's something that you learn, and I think it's a healthy thing. Because the brand, the up and downs, that's a normal course, but that should not be your inner feeling all the time.
Agreed.
And so that where I learned and was better able to do along the way, to have that space and be like, okay, I can, you know, relativate whatever happens. This is okay. This is not that bad. We do this. You become better in managing these things as well.
Yeah, and I think in that way, we're really like-minded. So, we need to conclude you need to be very agile, really resilient, and you need to push through regardless. And you just mentioned that not everything is fun, not everything is glamorous, but at least this is fun.
This
and
is
I get you on the podcast.
I'm glad to hear with you.
Absolutely. We've now went through your emerging part, and we talked a lot about the product itself, the luxury aspect, the sustainability aspect, etc. But I also want to talk about what you mentioned, finding the right partners, finding the right team, or building the right team around you to make it possible to emerge and to grow. And for that, I want to invite the listeners and the viewers of the podcast to a part 2, where we're going to discuss with Sepideh about what it takes to bring the now finished product onto the market and onto the doorstep of you, the consumers. So if they would like to ask you a question, get your advice or your opinion, how would they be able to reach out to you?
We're definitely available on Instagram. Follow us on Sepi.Agari and through our web shop, www.sepiagari.com.
There you go.
So we're definitely reachable on those media platforms.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening, for viewing. I feel like a very important and very, energetic session with Sepideh. And I hope to see you soon for part 2. And until then, see you soon.